9mm versus 45 auto in the critical duty line. Critical duty is a little bit different than critical defense in that it has a very hard lead core. It's got basically similar properties to a hard cast lead, but it's probably a little bit softer than that. And then we have a thicker than normal jacket on the outside of that. So what that's going to do is be able to punch through a barrier. So what I got here is 18 gauge steel, same thickness as a car door. I got some fabric carpet here and then some wood, and we'll see what happens if we punch through this barrier and then into water jugs and wood and see how they do. I've already chronographed this 45 auto in the past, and it's a 220 grain plus P, and I got a 5-shot average of 1,015 feet per second. We'll run the 9mm through the chronograph and see what kind of numbers we get with that. That's a 135 grain plus P. It's rated at 1,115. We'll see how that actually compares when we run it through the chronograph. Then we'll hit some water jugs and wood through that barrier and see how they compare. So let's get started. Alright, let's see what kind of chronograph numbers we're going to get with the 9mm plus P. We're about 6 yards from the chronograph. 1,062. 1,056. 1,057. 1,055. 1,061. 1,057. That is some very, very consistent velocity. I like that. However, we're not hitting 1115, so barrel length was probably something like a Beretta barrel that was tested out of. Alright, now let's hit the water jugs and wood and see how they compare to the 45 auto. Alright, let's hit the ballistic box here. See if it goes through this hard barrier and if it hit these water jugs. So let's see how the 9mm does. We went through the 18 gauge steel and through the wood. Here's the first jug. Doesn't look like it did a whole lot to that first jug after going through that barrier. Here's jug 2. Got a center hit out the back of 2. Looks like we're going through 3. And we got the projectile in the 4th jug. And here we are. We did get some expansion. It's not incredibly large, but the jacket stayed on it, and it did go through. And it did have some expansion. It did slow down in jug 4, which is pretty good. That's actually pretty ideal. Jug 4 is pretty equivalent to 12 inches in ballistics gel, so I'd say it performed pretty well. So let's see how the 45 auto compares. Let's see how the 45 auto critical duty compares to the 9mm. Alright, first jug, pretty good damage. Jug 2, good. Jug 3. Now we're into the 4th jug. It looks as if it came out of the 4th jug. Alright, I found that slug on the ground. It went through all 4 jugs and it bounced off the wood backstop on that box and left a good dent in it. But here we are in comparison to the 9mm. So we had more jug damage, more penetration, which is kind of surprising for a 45 auto. However, I mean, these are both plus P's, but that 45 auto, it punched through more material. Let's see how they compare when we hit the wood. Alright, we'll hit the 9mm on the top, see how far it throws it, and then we'll hit the bottom board with the bottom of the board with the 45. There's the 9mm critical duty. Alright, let's try the 45 auto critical duty and see if we got any more momentum. All right, gun is clear. All right, this is just shredded up. I think we meant to put this together after that 45 hit it. And here we go. We got the 9mm 45 second board, 9mm 45, and it looks like we're stuck kind of out the back of the second board, and a dent in the front of the third board with the 9mm. 45, on the other hand, it almost passed through the third board, cracked the whole thing open, and it's in there pretty good. So what we're seeing is definitely a little bit more power and penetration even with the 45 auto, which is a little bit different than what we normally expect to see. The 45 auto kind of over penetrates in my opinion for a 45. However, it's consistently beating the 9mm in both of these tests. So I would say overall the 45 auto critical duty, a little bit better cartridge than the 9mm critical duty. The 45 auto critical duty, unlike the 9mm and 357, which I've tested as well, the 45 is actually a lot more powerful than your average 45, as where the 9mm and the 357 Magnum are a little bit less powerful than the average of those cartridges. So it's a good 45 round. It's one of the more powerful 220 grain rounds out there. So that's what you're getting with the 45 auto versus the 9mm. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.